Hi, this is Vicky, also known as DragonflySoars, and you're watching DragonflySoars. I'm recording this on Tuesday, March 3rd, and it's about 7 o'clock. I actually wasn't planning on recording tonight. I was going to be home late because I was getting my hair cut, and then my son and I were going to do homework, but then we ended up talking and shifting some stuff around. They had ACT tests at school, and so I think part of it was he was just kind of done. But anyway, that's all fine and good. I had a chance to work on the Yarn Inspirations Crochet Crowd Mystery Afghan. Hi! So, I might as well just start with that. I had a mad scramble the last couple days to get caught up with the third clue. So, and I actually finished today 2 minutes before they released clue 4. Luckily I had conference calls today and I was on an easy part. So last week I showed you clue 3 if you wanted to look. Now I'm going to actually show you and talk about it. And then I'll show you today's clue, but I won't talk about that one. So clue 3. So our first clue, we did the gray granny square. Then we added this X feature. And then this latest one, we added what here is my turquoise blue and then the purple. And these are loops. I was kind of joking around the other day on one of the forums that if we do it right, you know, if we don't decide we don't really like it, we could make them into a door hanging. But anyway, so we have these long loops, and I have pictures. Last week I showed you a good picture of this one and a not so good picture of this one. I have to admit, my pictures have not really improved. I haven't had a chance to get really good lighting. So, but I will show these again just in case. I do have 2 here that aren't complete because I actually messed up. When you're coming around the corner, you're supposed to then have this little cluster. Well, right here on both of these, I don't have that little cluster. So I need to redo that round on these before I can add the extra big loopy round. But I wasn't going to try and fix that today at work. I will probably do them tonight and get them all caught up with clue 3 so then I can continue on with clue 4. So let me show those pictures real quick. Like I said, I have one that's like a pile of all the things done. The lighting has just been terrible. Outside, of course, is best, but outside is snowing and raining and freezing, and I actually started to go outside, and it was bad, and then I took one of my pictures upstairs on my patio because there's less snow, but the lighting was still kind of weird. I'm actually wondering if my camera is doing something strange on my phone, but that's neither here nor there. Here, let me show you the pictures of last week's clue and my pile. Now, I honestly feel like that whole pile of these looks kind of like this weird amoeba thing, and the contrasting colors seem to be kind of taking everything away. And I was really, it was a weird clue. I mean, I assumed that this week's clue would kind of give us a way forward of what's going to happen, and I was not disappointed. I really like this week's clue. I have seen that a lot on Facebook. Now, in case anybody's wondering, I'm not normally on Facebook a lot, but I have been for this mystery because of the fact that that's where they're hosting it. They're not hosting it really on Ravelry. Now, somebody did start a group for it, and we've been talking a little bit there, but that's not where all the information's coming from. That's not where the updates come from or anything like that. So I've been on Facebook more than usual. So anyway, so I am going to show you today's clue. Now, I really like the way today's clue came out, but if you have not seen it yet, look away. Once again, like I did the previous weeks, I will not say anything, so just look away now. Are you gone? Alright, this is clue 4 for my Afghan. And this is clue 4 for best friend's Afghan. And I'm now going to show pictures, so keep looking away. Alright, so I'm done. But I really like where this is going. And I'm really excited even about next week's. But the one thing I will say about this week's is it is harder for me to memorize. So I actually blew up the chart. I mean, the chart, it's a square. So I actually just blew up one corner of the chart because I figured I could, you're just repeating yourself. So I blew it up on 8.5 by 11. So, hi. Are we all better now? So, one of the things I told you last week is that there is another crochet along that I think is absolutely gorgeous. It is called Sophie's Universe, and for the life of me, I cannot remember who is the designer. It's actually, I think, 2 designers helping do it. I don't know who's the designer and who's helping manage it. But I just think it's beautiful. And I had said, I'm not going to do that. I can't afford the yarn that it would require because it requires 4,500 yards of yarn. So, my mother emails that night after she saw the podcast and says, I work at the craft store. If you did this in Bernat Super Saver, you could do the whole thing for around $20 or so. Really, Mom? And I'm like, oh, okay. And then I'm thinking about it. And it wasn't very long before that turned into, yeah, I would like to do that. Which has best friend kind of laughing at me, but he's seen all the pictures and he thinks it's absolutely beautiful too. I sent Mom pictures because I was like, this is what I'm talking about. It doesn't seem to matter what kind of colors people are picking. They're choosing 1 color, 3 colors, 12 colors, scraps, and they all look interesting. Now, I mean, as with anything, there are some I like better than others, but still, they're all really neat. There's even one person, and now I linked you guys to the Ravelry projects. The one thing is people aren't updating their projects on Ravelry as well, but keep looking anyway. I'm seeing most of the really gorgeous shots on Facebook again. But there's somebody that's making that Sophie's Universe out of sewing thread and a little tiny crochet hook. I'm just like, wow. And it looks really cool. So, Mom bought me yarn for the Sophie's Universe. Now, I won't get it until not this coming weekend, but next weekend, because we're going there for one of my son's events. So, so I will have yarn. But I'm going to post pictures here of the yarn she chose. Again, I don't have pictures of the Afghan because everything's on Facebook, and to me, Facebook is even more personal to people. So I don't want to try and take their pictures. But you should go looking at the Ravelry pages at least. But here's the yarn she picked out. Well, we picked out together. She kind of knew what I wanted, and then she went with what they had. So when we did this, she asked me, you know, how many of each color, and I did math, basically. I decided that I wanted the majority of it to be kind of the teal blue, and so I did some math from that point on and said, well, I'd like it to be 50% this and 10% this, and etc. So that's how we picked how many skeins, and so I should be all set. Now, granted, they're on week 8, I think. I mean, I'm never going to catch up, especially because I'm doing this other one. Also, because she got me that yarn, I thought I really need to tackle the Kaffe Fassett afghan. So, I did something I never do. I went to best friend's house and stayed there this weekend, even though he wasn't there. Not the whole weekend, but I was there. I needed to be at my house Saturday morning, so I didn't go there until 1 in the afternoon. And then I had intended to come back. I didn't pack for staying overnight, but I got so involved in what I was doing that I ended up staying the night, and I have pajamas there. So, I mean, it was fine. But I've never stayed at his house when he's not there. I guess I should get used to it since we're supposed to be moving, which is a whole different story. But anyway, I got a lot done. Now, I had told you that seaming a strip of squares was taking me about an hour. In my head, I figured that putting together the strip took about an hour. Therefore, putting 2 strips together would also take about an hour because it was only one more seam of squares. I wasn't taking into account that there's some extra fiddly bits with kind of trying to clean up the corners where the joins are and weaving in ends and things like that. It's actually taking me about 2.5 to 3 hours. It was taking me about 3 episodes of Criminal Minds on Netflix to put together one pair. So I did not get as far as I thought I was going to, but I got all the single strips done, and then I got 3 pairs done over the weekend. So here is a picture of the latest. Now you might have noticed that I put little tassels where the corners join. That is because no matter how careful I was for doing the join, I can't get the corners to tighten up very well. And part of that's because on every square, 2 of the corners are made out of the cast on and the bind off. They just didn't want to join pretty, and I worked so hard, and the first pair took me forever because I was trying so hard to make it look nice and neat. And I finally just tightened it up the best I could, pulled the yarn through, tied it in a knot, cut off the ends, and decided that they were going to have tassels. I am not sure all along if Best Friend really liked the blanket. In fact, I'm pretty sure he appreciated the work it was taking, the dedication, the time. I don't think he liked the blanket. Now, I sent him a picture while he was gone of how it was coming out, and he went, "That is really pretty. I really like it." And then the next text I get is, I showed Pat, who was his buddy that he was driving to Kentucky with. I showed Pat, and he thinks it's really beautiful too. And so all of a sudden it kind of came to life. So I'm really glad he likes it, because it is, it was not, well, the wool wasn't cheap to begin with. That's besides the point. It was a lot of work. So I still obviously have several seams to do. I have at least 1, 2, 3, 4 more seams, I think. And then, of course, there is the border. So, overall, though, I'm really liking it. And while I was seaming it up, I was sitting on the couch, and I had, the pair sitting across my lap. It was toasty. It was very nice that way. So, But I really want to get that as complete as possible so that when I do start the Sophie's Universe, I'm not feeling like I have so many things lingering. Alright. I think that is all from my works in progress, but let me check. I think that was plenty, honestly. It was a lot of stuff going on. Hi. Alright, I did want to, we do have a What Do You Want Me to Share. I also was going to, well, I already drew for the February prize winners. And what I did is, because we do, feel free to chatter and admire as much as you like in the thread for What Are You Knitting On. And then all I do is I drew 3 random numbers. And then I looked to see if those posts had projects in them. As it turned out, amazingly, this time every post had a project. However, I did have a duplicate winner, so I ended up drawing 4 numbers. But the and then I just did it in the order. So on the, I'm really sorry. On the very first post, I had said that the prizes were a Ravelry pattern for $15 or less, or as many patterns as you can fit in $15 or less. There's a Ravelry pattern, another Ravelry pattern set, and then an Etsy gift card of $25. So that is the order I drew the numbers is the order of the prizes. So the first Ravelry gift card, well, not gift card, the first Ravelry gift of patterns totaling $15 or less goes to Crow Julie for post 191, and she had a really beautiful hot pad. I don't know what she was doing. She made a whole ton of really pretty hot pads. But, so she wins patterns. The next person to win patterns is Flibberty Gibbet, and I love this prize. I'll actually copy the photos in so you guys can see them. But Flibberty Gibbet for post 139 also won $15 worth of prizes. Now, she made a pattern that I hadn't heard of, but it's called the Basic Peanut Body. And it's a peanut-shaped body, and then people embellish it. Well, she actually embellished hers into this, like, adorable little chicken. I will put the chicken picture in. So she won $15 of Ravelry prizes. And then Twisting Pearls, who is Eileen, who I'm pretty sure used to have a different name. Anyway, she posted a picture of a colorwork hat that with flamingos on it. And I think from what I'm understanding it was a test knit. But anyway, Eileen, you won a $25 Etsy gift card. So for you, I'm going to need your real email address. So I will show that picture too. I'm also going to show a picture of Tiff made these little mini, I think they're little mini zombies. The reason she made them is because she is going to the zombie knitpocalypse. I believe that's in June. I'm not going, so I'm not sure. I think it's in June. And it's for some sort of swap they're doing. But anyway, if you are going to the zombie knitpocalypse, Tiff will be there. So you can see her. And then I'm going to Knitopia in April, which I told you guys last week. But just in case anybody was wondering. Yeah, that is all of that. So I'm going to go to the What Do You Want Me to Share, because I want to read it off. I know the subject, but I wanted to actually read it. Actually, I'm going to pause here and put all those pictures in. Alright. Now this question comes from to Nandy, who is Heather. Now, Heather, I swear, has become like one of my best friends lately. We are talking a lot. We're both doing the mystery crochet along, and we just end up chatting a lot during the day. So sometimes the questions that she posts are because we were having a conversation and we thought, oh, that would make a really good question for the podcast. So she has a few in there. And I've actually now posted one in there so that when I get to it, I have something I want to talk to you guys about. But it won't be for a few weeks, just because of the order of the list. So she wrote, how do you decide how much to pay for yarn? Is it I love it, so the price isn't a factor? Is it the company dyer is just worth whatever they charge? Are sales on the things? Is it the type of yarn, BFL, silk, superwash? Is it the yardage? Do projects have a price point? Example, a hat is under $10 or $20, a shawl, a sweater. While watching lots of knitting podcasts, I have come to the conclusion that a lot of them follow their hearts when purchasing yarn. Not necessarily a bad thing. A few share the price at time of purchase, but many don't. Sometime I would like to know what the wonderful projects actually cost. Alright. If I tell you how much my projects cost, then I have to actually admit it and tell, and when best friend watches this, he will know. So the blanket, the Kaffe Fassett blanket, was about $200. I ordered the yarn from Webs, so I got the discount, but I had just gotten in my head, I was very excited to do something by Kaffe Fassett. I'm not sure I would have done that one if I had realized it was going to be all stripes. In fact, I'm fairly certain I would not have done it. But having committed to it and having purchased all that yarn, of course I did it. For me, in the past, buying yarn has been a lot of, ooh, pretty, and I buy it, and then later I figure out what to do with it. Especially with having Ravelry, where you can search for projects by a particular yarn weight and how much you have. That has made that a whole lot easier. That being said, I have also gotten to the point of almost a balancing act where unless I'm buying yarn for a specific project, I'm not buying a lot of yarn these days. I may perhaps join a club, like I did Highland Handmaids last year, and then I'm just waiting to be surprised. It's kind of like instead of being on a yarn diet, I'm not really on a yarn diet. I have yarn coming, but I'm not going out and looking for it. So if I'm not buying a lot of yarn lately unless it is somehow special. If it is something that I am buying as souvenir yarn, for example, I'm on a trip like when Tiff and I went on a yarn crawl. I didn't buy a lot of yarn that time. But what I did buy was special and unique to that area. Something I couldn't just necessarily go online and find. Which is a lot harder these days. I mean, the internet is a blessing in the fact that you can find pretty much anything you want, but it also means that it takes away some of that specialness to me. But I look at the prices sometimes and go, nah, I don't want to spend that much right now. I might look at, I love Miss Babs' Yowza What a Skein, and if I was going to make another sweater, I would probably buy a sweater's worth of yarn from her because I had such a good experience with it. And I don't have a sweater's worth of yarn. Making these Afghans, I didn't have any worsted, so I went and bought the yarn specific for making these projects. I don't have anybody handing me yarn. But fingering weight, I'm not buying a lot of. Lace weight, I'm not buying a lot of. I have so much lace weight that I could do shawls for the next 15 years. Easily, especially because shawls, the lace shawls that I like to do, take quite some time. So, that's a very long-winded way of saying, The price is important, but mostly I buy based on that it was pretty. By the time I do a project, I may not have any idea how much that yarn cost. I very, very rarely put the cost of yarn in Ravelry. So, frequently, I have no idea how much a project costs. I didn't even think about the Kaffe Fassett one, except for best friend and I were talking about something, and so I was showing him. I don't remember why. He was asking me how much like a ball of yarn was costing, and I was like, I don't remember because of the discount and stuff, and I looked it up and went, oh, it's like $10 normally, and I got it for $8, and he said, oh, well, how much is there? And I said, well, it looks like I spent $160, and then I bought more for the border. So, that being what it is. And he said, oh, well, then we're not giving that blanket away. It wasn't like there was no chastising. It was mostly a curiosity thing. So yeah, mostly it's pretty. I know I can find a project for it, but these days it's more likely to be bought for a project or because it's special in some way. And I think that's it. Yeah. That was all for now. So I will see you guys all next time. I'm going to get this built, load it onto the computer, but again, I'll probably upload it when I'm at work because it goes so much faster. So much faster. Last week, I built it on the iPad, but I forgot to copy it over to the laptop. Well, I was thinking, I didn't have the laptop on, and I was thinking, I'll just take care of it tomorrow, which would have been great if I had remembered to take the iPad to work so that I could do that last step. Right now, because I was intending to do homework, I have the laptop on, so I'll just copy it all over and then finish it up tomorrow at work, which is just basically the upload. So, that is all. I'm all done. I will talk to you guys all next time. Bye now.